You know what I hear all the time now? Men saying they don't want to get married anymore.
So the other day I posted a video talking about how people are no longer wanting to get married. Specifically men, but women as well.
Men marry the safe girl much more than they marry the dream girl.
The right person isn't going to care how many times you've been divorced, or how many kids you have, or that you're dealing with a piece of shit.
The right person to modern women today is the man that's going to tolerate whatever nonsense they got going on. A man marrying a woman who's been divorced 4 times is literally jumping into chaos.
There's a video out there somewhere that says, if I get married, my husband is going to have to live next door, and that part. That part, because if there's anything that I learned being single, it's how needy men actually are, and I just can't do it. I can't do it.
Men would rethink marriage real quick if they had to do all of the cooking, cleaning, childcare, laundry, whatever the case may be. You would see a lot of men choosing not to get married if all of those domestic responsibilities were theirs.
You know what my favorite thing about my man is? You want to know? That he literally turned the hoe into the housewife. He literally turned the hoe into a housewife. It's possible. I'm just folding his boxers. You know, it took a minute. I was like, you know, I ain't ready to settle down, baby. I'm still out here in the streets. But he turned me into a housewife. Oh, is your mind? Yeah, he did it, yeah.
Marriage is a humiliation ritual indeed. Now this here is the highest form of disrespect. For her to get on camera and say, my husband turned a hoe into a housewife, and he's not even standing there, makes it even worse. Because now she's publicly defining her husband and her marriage while he's not even present to speak for himself. She's putting his name and his reputation into a narrative that revolves around her past. Instead of protecting the image of her marriage, she's broadcasting something that most people would normally keep private. And the deeper issue is the lack of awareness about how that reflects on him. What this woman is doing is basically saying, look, I used to be passed around, but I got saved. You can too. And in the process, she's putting her husband in the role of the man who had to come in and clean everything up. Now, maybe he doesn't know her past, or maybe he does, but this is a position you should never be in as a man.
The grass is not greener on the other side. If you're thinking of leaving your man, you've been in this relationship for 10, 20, 30 years, and you're thinking, I'm bored. I don't want to be married anymore. You are going to set yourself up for the biggest pile of shit to pour upon you. It is going to be an epic level rock bottom. Like, here's rock bottom, and then you're like way beneath with a pile of shit on top. When I tell you you need to save your marriage and you need to work on the core issues, that why are you at odds? What's going on here? What's really going on here?
The right person isn't going to care how many times you've been divorced, or how many kids you have, or that you're dealing with a piece of ex-husband who's trying to make your life a living hell. They're not going to care.
But he is going to see those things as potential red flags or maybe even deal breakers. However, if you're a really cool person and you're hot, then the benefits might outweigh the risks. But with that being said, he should absolutely know all of this information about you, because that is what's fair and right for him to make an informed decision. Which is why if women are not forthcoming with this information, it's so important for men to find it out. Which is why I always recommend, guys, do a public data check on the woman that you're interested in on a trusted website like publicdatacheck.com, because you can end up saving yourself a ton of hassle.
This woman has got to be joking. She says, the right person isn't gonna care how many times you've been divorced or how many kids you have. But when you really listen to statements like that, it reveals a lot about the mindset behind it. Because what she's really saying is that the right man is the one who won't question anything. The right man is the one who will simply accept whatever situation is placed in front of him no matter how complicated it is. And like I said earlier, when these types of women say stuff like this, they're not really talking about compatibility, accountability, or building something stable with someone. They're talking about finding a man who will tolerate whatever they've got going on, no matter what the circumstances are. The goalpost is always moving. First, it's a real man will accept me for who I am. Then it becomes a real man won't care about my past. And every time, the definition of the right man becomes someone who asks fewer and fewer questions and accepts more and more responsibility for situations he had nothing to do with.
In China, divorce rate has gone down 70%. And this is because of the new divorce laws implemented February of this year, 2025. What changed, you ask? Well, assets aren't automatically split anymore. If a house is in the husband's name, she has to prove financial contribution, or she gets nothing. Also, there's a 30-day cool-down period. If both parties want a divorce, they have to wait 30 days. And within those 30 days, either one can withdraw and cancel the divorce. A lot of guys are with this, but a lot of women are like, that's not fair. If she was a stay-at-home mom and couldn't financially participate in the bill, she's asked out. The fact he could cancel the divorce within 30 days if she wants to get out. I don't know, it's controversial, but the divorce rate has gone down, but the marriage rate has also gone down. Some guys are saying, let's try this in the US. But what do you guys think?
So y'all, I told y'all that I am in the process of getting a divorce, and after 2 days of no contact, I reached out to my soon-to-be ex-husband, just asking him, like what was going on, because I filed everything that I was supposed to file, and I was waiting on him to do his part. And I think a little piece of me was hoping that he would just, be like, oh, I'm gonna change, we can make it work. But I texted him to ask him if he did, and he sent me a paper of he sent me the paperwork just showing me that, I definitely went down there and filed. And it's like, okay, period, clock it. I did not, hey, you standing on big business. I did not expect you to do that. But now I'm just like a little bit sad because I'm like, oh my God, everything that I have fantasized about and in my brain just tried to think like, oh yeah, we're going to be such a happy family. I got to let all of that go and come to the realization that in a few months, it's going to be over. But then I'm also thinking about, okay, if it takes like 3 or 4 months, that means that I could be single by Thanksgiving and y'all can invite me to y'all Thanksgivings and I can see y'all fine cousins and y'all fine homeboys. And then also I can have a real good Christmas because he going to give me a Christmas gift. And then my birthday is in January, so he probably going to get me a birthday gift too. And then by Valentine's Day, I could probably have a boyfriend. So yeah.
Now, this is quite funny. This woman filed for divorce but was shocked at how fast he signed those divorce papers. She thought he was about to fight, beg, argue, or try to convince her to stay. In her mind, there was probably a whole scene that was supposed to play out. Emotions, pleading, maybe even guilt. But instead, he simply signed the papers and let her go. And that's the part that caught her off guard, because when someone files for divorce, they're making a very clear decision. That's not a small step. That's telling the other person, I no longer want to be married to you. But it seems like she expected him to resist that decision, almost like she wanted the validation that he still needed her. If being in a happy marriage was truly one of her goals, she wouldn't have filed so quickly in the first place. She would have slowed down, communicated with him, tried to work through whatever issues were there.
Well, why you would want to get married again? I'll give you a good example. First one, no-brainer. Matching Christmas pajamas in the holidays. Duh. Dual income for snack runs. We know you love your snacks. Forever nookie on demand. Unless you're celibate or you like to do a lot of one-handed workouts, then I guess that one's off the table. A lifelong partner that's constantly nagging. I mean, who doesn't want a coach with a megaphone? And a bonus, you could enjoy a surprise honey-do list at any moment in time that needs to be done right now, as well as having that partner that has the mysterious art of finding the missing sock after laundry day, or the replacement fairy. Your deodorant is no longer out, or your favorite soda is restocked magically. Your toothpaste is no longer empty. Who doesn't love a replacement fairy? Marriage 2.0, 100% more love with 200% more eye rolls. I think I've sold the case right there. Generation XXX.
If you're single right now and you're worried about whether you'll meet the right man, I promise you, they are out there. Good men still exist. For example, tonight we were supposed to go out for fireworks and like this festival thing and this party thing, and it was supposed to be really fun. And I've just been so ill. And my husband was like, if you don't want to go, babe, don't worry, I'll order us some food. And I know he really wanted to go. And just that simple act of compromise, amongst the million other amazing things that he does, just shows that love and compassion isn't dead. I just know that she would be so proud of me, and she would be so proud of the man that I've chosen to spend the rest of my life with. And it is so true that being with a nice, generous, kind man is so important and so key, because you're not only thinking about the man you're going to be with for the rest of your life, you're also thinking about the man that's going to be the father of your children, the man that's going to hold your hands when your parents pass away. And I really feel so lucky with the man that I have chosen to spend the rest of my life with.
It's great that her marriage is working out. But the women who say they're worried about meeting the right man are usually looking for a very specific type of man, if we're being honest. There are still plenty of good men out there, men who work, who are loyal, who want a peaceful relationship, who would actually value commitment and family. Those men absolutely exist. The issue isn't that they disappeared. The issue is that most of the time those men aren't the ones being chosen. A lot of people say they want stability, respect, and loyalty, but their dating choices often lean towards something completely different. They end up prioritizing excitement, status, attention, or the type of man who has a lot of options. Then, when those situations don't work out, the conversation becomes, where are all the good men? But many of those men were always there. If anything, the women who are worried about finding the right person has put them sleeves in these positions where they can't attract any.
Oh, good God. Not another one.
So I've been divorced for 2.5 years and I'm ready to start dating. And I'm just wondering, where are all the men at? Because the dating apps, well, they're terrible. Either the men don't know how to take good pictures of themselves, or they're just not on there, or they don't say anything. I don't really understand it. They're not at the grocery store. Like, are you guys getting your groceries delivered? Where are all the men at? I don't golf, so that's out.
When are they going to get it? When are they going to get that men are off enjoying life, enjoying their peace, and just want to be left the hell alone? When are they going to get that men have figured out that they're far, far happier, their lives are far better without women than with them? When are they going to get that men are no longer interested in dealing with their drama, delusions, and narcissism? Not to mention their never-ending ridiculous expectations and demands, especially from women who've already proven that their word, their promises, their commitments are nothing more than hollow lies. Sorry, ladies, but y'all made your beds. Now you're going to get to spend the rest of your life living in them alone.
60 to 70% of divorces are initiated by women after the age of 40. Let that hit you in the face. Women are straight up dumping their husbands once the kids are grown and the hormones start doing backflips and cartwheels. This is the latest data. Women initiate about 69% of divorces, and among couples over 50, that gray divorce, that number stays roughly the same, around 66 to 70%. And in many cases, men are blindsided while the woman was emotionally checked out long before the papers were filed. Why? Here's the brutal truth. The first reason is she is done with your... If you stopped taking her on dates, stopped taking care of yourself, came home, grabbed the phone, cracked the beer, ate the chips, and zoned out on the game while she handled the house, the kids, the emotions, everything, she's over it. You became her roommate with a friggin' pulse. She's tired of being your maid and or your mom, and she knows that she deserves better. The second reason, if you married her at 22, what did you expect to happen 30 years later? She's a completely different person. New passions, new confidence, new boundaries. If you did not grow with her, if you stayed stuck in the same habits, you weren't improving yourself, your sex game went stale, you stopped being adventurous, she got bored. She evolved and you didn't. And she's not settling for that old version of you anymore. Third reason is menopause. That's the final straw. Her hormones flip, her tolerance crashes, every ignored problem explodes. And if you are not helping her level her hormones, she's gone. And the fourth reason, she's got her own money. She's also have her own friends and her own life, and you let her work like a man, just like you. And then why would she depend on you anymore? She was a wife, a mom, and busting her ass, working full time every day for years. She carried it all. Now she's fried. No more staying for the kids or the mortgage. She's gone. Here's a little bit of more data for you. Post-divorce, only 27% of women regret it. Men, 39% do. So more women are happy that they chose to divorce versus the ones who didn't. And here's some instruction for you. Don't marry young and clueless. Date long. Grow together. Step up every day. Dates, effort, self-care, adventure, intimacy, and polarity. And communicate. Evolve. Talk and be honest with her. Or watch her walk away once she hits 40.
If you've paid attention to all of those reasons, what's really being said is that women are filing for divorces because of men, always men. According to that narrative, the problem is always the husband. The fault almost never seems to fall on the women themselves. Now, I'm not saying a man should let himself go in a marriage. Absolutely not. A man still has responsibilities in a relationship. He should still take care of himself, communicate, put effort into the marriage, and show up as a good partner. That part is completely fair. But the issue is that many of the reasons she listed could easily apply to both men and women. Those aren't things that only men do. Those are human relationship problems that can happen on either side. But the way these conversations are often framed, it creates a one-sided story where the man is automatically the cause of the divorce, while the woman is simply reacting to his failures. And that's where the conversation starts to feel dishonest.